Hello and welcome back to SportsbookReview.com. Today we are talking NBA Western Conference semis with our expert handicapper Dave Golikoff. What's going on today, Dave?
Hey, I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing great. Thanks for asking. Now let's take a look at this Game 2 matchup featuring the Clippers and the Rockets set to tip off on Wednesday night. Now the Rockets look to even things up after getting beaten Game 1 last night by 16 points. This all without Los Angeles point guard Chris Paul in the mix. Simply put, Dave, if the Rockets can't be the Clippers team missing their best player, what chance do they have, especially when Paul returns?
Well, first of all, they can play a whole lot better. The Rockets in Game 1 definitely did not show who they are. This is a team that's significantly better than that. Their defense was horrible. Turnovers, I don't even remember how many they had. So they're in the 20s in turnovers. Their shooting was way off. Their three-point shooting. James Harden had a quiet night. We're talking about the NBA's leading scorer. He had 20 points. The rest of the team didn't do a whole lot. So there is room for improvement for this Rockets team. You know, one of the things about a bunch of rest that we talk about, it's sort of a double-edged sword. When the team gets a bunch of rest, yes, they could be fresh, as Golden State was when they stomped Memphis after they had a big break. Sometimes, though, as we saw with Houston, that can lead to rust. And we saw this Clippers team that went 7 games, playing every other night. This was just another game for them. They were fresh, they were crisp, whereas the Rockets definitely looked like they were on vacation for a week. So I think that's a big factor here.
All right, now the Clips are in a good spot, even with just one game lead. They know that they not only have what it takes to beat Houston, but they can do it shorthanded. Now, Blake Griffin and DeAndre Jordan obviously need to keep playing well, but who in Los Angeles' backcourt needs to step up and try to fill Paul's shoes?
Well, another good game from Austin Rivers would help, although some of his points came in garbage. So you look at the final number, 17 is great. Jamal Crawford stepped up big time. And even DeAndre Jordan, I know it was not the backcourt, but you know his free throw shooting was good. And, of course, Blake Griffin was the key with another triple-double. It's an interesting spot here for the Clippers. Do you put your foot on the gas, get Chris Paul out there if he's healthy, and push the pedal to the metal to try and steal 2 games from the Rockets, which after watching Game 1, if they can do that without Chris Paul, it's a good chance they win with him. So do you push for that, or would you rather give Chris Paul some extra time off, rest him Game 2 because you've already got the split in Houston, and sort of save him for the latter 5 games of the series? It's an interesting thought because the other factor here, too, is the Clippers can steal Game 2 with Paul, maybe win Game 3 and 4 rather quickly. I know this is fleshing a lot of this out, but maybe they start thinking about getting some rest for the next round, which is the key to Paul. So it's kind of a lot of different thoughts going on in the minds of not only the coaching staff, but handicappers. You have to keep an eye on whether Chris Paul is going to play in Game number 2.
Yeah, that's an excellent point, Dave. You know, those hamstring injuries can be pretty tricky and very lingering. All right, now, let's get down to it. What is your pick for Game 2, Dave?
I think just psychologically, it's going to be tough for the Clippers to win this game. I think that Houston's going to play much better. This is do or die for them already. They know they can't get swept at home and hope to have any chance of winning the series. I think the Clippers are going to push them again, but I think Doc Rivers is going to rest Chris Paul one more game. They're already playing with the house's money here with the first win. And I think that essentially it's just not going to be the same killer instinct mindset for the Clippers. Beyond that, tactically, I think the Rockets have a lot of room for improvement. They're at home where they play relatively well. And I don't think some of the Clippers play as well as they did in Game number 1. So all in all, I like the Rockets to win and cover in Game number 2.
All right, there you have it. Dave's calling it, the Rockets to pull even in Game 2. And remember, for all of your NBA playoff picks, previews, and predictions, keep it locked right here at SBRvideo.com.